Hi guys, Technobricks here, and today LEGO has just announced their new LEGO icon set, and I'm going to be taking a look at it. This set I'm talking about is set 10360 Shuttle Carrier Aircraft, with a price tag of $229.99 for 2,417 pieces. Well, firstly, it is huge. It measures approximately 63 centimeters or 24.8 inches in length, 53.5 centimeters or 21 inches in width, because of the wings of course, and 27 centimeters or 10.6 inches in height. That is, of course, when both the aircrafts are attached to one another, and it also includes the stand. So, in reality, they are a bit smaller in height. This is how both the shuttles look when they are separated, and well, it's accurate, I guess. You can see those ball joints on the modified Boeing are pretty similar to the real thing, to the real way that you attach the shuttle for transporting onto this plane, and that there's also the motor cover for the actual space shuttle, which again looks very similar to the real thing. The stand looks pretty good. It's very similar to all the other stands that we got for other icon sets, just black, and at the base two printed plates with some facts about the model that is represented. So here you have two 6x6s, I think, one for the NASA Space Shuttle and one for the Boeing Shuttle carrier. Moving on to the actual builds, you can see that, like I previously said, they are pretty accurate to their real-life counterparts. Here's a picture for clarification of what the actual things look like. So yeah, you can see that they are pretty similar. You can see that these two builds have a lot of stickers or prints on them. I'm not sure, I think that there's a bit of both. And it makes them look really detailed. Although I'm not really a fan of those hublots there on the Boeing. They look a bit weird. But it's accurate, that's the thing, that's the way that the plane looks, so Lego didn't really have a choice. Although I do like a lot that print that it made for the windshield, like that in black. Also, while we are on this image, I would like to point out what a clever use of pieces was using that gear for the motors of the plane. It looks very good and maybe a bit more realistic than the specialized piece that Lego made. It looks like the motor is a lot more powerful and they cannot afford to make a cool looking design, that they need something that is actually functional, something that has power. The wings also, the wall wings actually, because the motors are part of the wings, they seem to have been built in the same style, a style of power, of strength, of functionality, and they capture very well the look of real airplane wings. If you have been on an airplane and looked out the window, you can see that there are a lot of lines or bolts and little dents, maybe not really, but you get the point. And those studs and the little spacing between the plates really imitates that look, and I don't know if that's intentional or not, but it really sells the point. The tail of the plane looks really good. You can see it is as huge as is in the reference photo that I showed you with the actual real life plane. And that also the ailerons, I think that that's what it called, the vertical parts of the tail on the sides, they both are pretty accurate to the real life deal. The body of the plane too looks really good, they really captured that cylindrical shape. And on the back too, that really sharp ending, it looks good. It again, I know I'm repeating myself, that it really captures the spirit of the real life plane. The front of the plane, however, I don't really know what to say about it. I mean, I know how hard it is to build circles out of Lego, especially out of slopes. It can take hours, and after all those hours, you just scrap the entire thing because it looks wrong. But still, this is coming from professional designers, and it just looks chunky, especially compared to the rest of the plane. I mean, if it was by itself or the whole plane was in this, like, not pixelated but chunky style, it would have maybe looked better, but the whole other parts of the plane look smooth, they look finished, and just here you have a lot of gaps, of inconsistency. I know I said before I like the cockpit, and I was referring to the print because it doesn't really fit in with the rest of the front of the plane. But still, it's a good build, although maybe they should have spent a little bit more on the design, but it looks good. Solid 8 out of 10, I think. The space shuttle too looks very good and very similar to the real and iconic space shuttle that we all know and love. And as I pointed out before, you have also on the side that little motor cover that you can put on, that is used for when this shuttle is transported in real life. You can see that very iconic and black underbelly that it has, and that also black nose. It reminds me of a dog's truffle. And yeah, I mean, we've gotten a lot of these. This, I think, is the biggest one so far, but there's not really anything special apart from the fact that you can attach it to this Boeing and that there are a lot more prints on it. So yeah, these are my thoughts on the new Lego icon set that was announced, the shuttle carrier plane. I think it's pretty good, and yeah, I would rate it an 8 out of 10. So yeah, until next time.